So when it comes to your knees in the back pose, if I point my toes open, think like a duck, and I drive my legs straight and I push my butt backwards, you're likely getting a lot of tension right here in your low back. Through the bottom of your erector is probably about 2 inches of space at least, and maybe I'd say a little bit of what would feel like a hyperextension or an RDL feeling in your hamstrings. From the side, what that would look like would be this. So if my knees are going through extension, meaning that they're straight, then that means my hamstring is in a stretched position here and my quads are flexed. I want my hamstrings to flex because I want people to be able to see this bubble. Just like if I was going to flex my bicep, I wouldn't do this. So we don't want to extend the knee like we would the elbow to get a bicep flex. I want to soften my knees to get a hamstring bubble so that my quads are relaxed and my hamstrings are starting to engage instead. So when I go to push in the back pose, again, if I go from that straight leg and now my knees are close together, this is really tight, but that means this is really flat. So I want to let that knee extension go, and I'm just going to soften my knees. And this is weird, I know, but you want to open out your knees just a little bit. Now you're not bowing out the knees, you're not really bending. I call it softening or breaking. So I'm going to push on the back of the knee, and you can see there where my hamstring starts to show a little bit more bubble. So a hyperextension versus more of a bubble. So it's just breaking the back of the knee, just letting it soften so you're not in hyperextension. So when I soften the back of the knees, I now can externally rotate my knees barely. I can only go so far because it's not like I'm doing this, right? So once I go from locked out knees that are really narrow space, right, I can let that go, and now I can add a little bit more space between my knees, which is going to give me bubble here and allows me to engage up here. Now the contraction is more here. It's not going to be all the way up here. The engagement of the low back is really just that pelvic tilt. If you're getting all the way to here, you're going too far. You're pushing those legs straight. Again, from the side, what that would look like would be this, and that's going to be too far, especially this. So we want to let that go, soften the back of the knees, pelvic tilt, let the knees again be soft, kind of faded from the back, and then I can externally rotate my knees. That gives me more symmetry from my knee to my hip and my toes, as opposed to this. So again, this has no symmetry from hips to knees to toes, versus this is going to give me more symmetry from hip to knee to ankles. So I want to externally rotate my knees, scoop my low back up to the ceiling, and then my arms will stay dangling down by my